Well, there's always a tension between hiring the person who can hit the ground running and then hire the person that you want to be there a year or a year and a half later. So we'd have some questions around their ability to their experience and abilities managing data. But really that's table stakes, right? That's day one behavior that you expect from someone. But longer term, you want someone who can grow. And so personally what I like to look for in the interview process is an ability to learn. And you can see that in people's background, in their resume, and how they respond to your questions. Another place that I really look for it is, are they asking questions? Are they on their own initiative asking me questions to learn about my business and what matters to me? That to me indicates a really curious mind and an ability to learn.
So in the interview, not so much you asking them, but for them to take kind of control of the interview and asking you questions?
Absolutely, absolutely. You're not going to get a better opportunity to learn about what someone thinks about the role, what their business is like, what their priorities are. I mean, you're in there, so take that opportunity. You're gonna, because if you're successful from the first interview, you're gonna have second and third interviews. You can keep doing that process, but along the way, you can demonstrate that you're learning things and that you're picking up the key facts.
And so, were you the one in the seat interviewing this recent hire?
I was in the second round.
I was
in the second round. Yeah.
So, what stood out to you when you interviewed her?
I think in her case, we were looking for, everything I described, and I focused more on this learning ability and fit. Are they going to fit? And so I think what really struck me is she had a good sense of humor. She had a sense of what she wanted to do in the future, and she was confident about the skills she was bringing to the role.
So what kind of questions would it be like? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What kind of questions? So say if you're interviewing, what kind of questions did you ask me?
Sometimes you follow a script, but I find it's better when you get away from the script and you pull things out of the resume that are of interest to you, and then you try and turn it into something. But the 5-year question is something that I use a lot. It's a common question. Everyone gets it. When I ask that question, I'm just looking for someone who has given it some thought. It's not like I expect to be the CEO in 5 years, but these are where my interests and skills lie, and I'd like to move down this path, that sort of thing. And as well, I love to get people talking, get them to ask questions. So I always have one softball question, which is, what question haven't we asked you that we should ask you?
That's a good
and to me, that's a slow pitch across the plate. And if there's that one thing you really want to say about your experience or your abilities, that's the time to get it out there. And I'm surprised at how often people miss that one. To tell you the truth, I go, well, I really don't have anything, or sorry, I can't think of it, and, which is too bad, because it's your chance to highlight whatever it is that you really think is a big strength for yourself.
Would you say that's something you recommend people do if they go into interviews and the interview say, oh yeah, by the way, this is something you didn't ask me, but I also want to express this about myself?
Absolutely. It tells me you learn that fact about them, but it also tells me they've got a message, they've thought about what they want to communicate to you, and they're not going to be passive and wait for that to get dug up. Someone who's got that kind of initiative just in an interview probably has it in the day-to-day job, right?
The thing that I wanted to ask you before was something that you wanted to get across in this interview.
Right.
So kind of that softball question to you now.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And you're learning, right? Well, I watched Steve's interview, which I thought was excellent, and he laid out some concrete tips for contacting people, and which I think were excellent. And I think it dovetails really with what I think is really important is, and if you think of this as not one job, but a series of jobs, but your whole career and your approach to that. If you start working on that now, it will pay off tremendous dividends.
Because I think when you get that first network started, or start networking, once you start seeing the value that comes with it, then that's when it starts being a lifelong kind of habit. Yeah.
It's like compound interest too. It pays off. The payoffs year one, 2% doesn't look great, but year 2, year 5, and so on, it really snowballs. And it can be messy at first. I get that, right? Sending an email to someone you don't know, phoning someone you don't know, asking someone for a bit of their time, and you're going to mess it up, you certainly, or you're not going to do as well as you like. As well, you just got to find your voice and your way of doing it. But that's to me is the key point. If you realize these are skills that you can acquire and improve, it will really pay off.